Hello everyone, my name is Linas, and today I'm going to talk about NLP for limiting beliefs. Well, it's quite obvious for everybody that sometimes we have doubts about how things are going to turn out. And we all have this little voice in our head which says, don't do it. And quite frankly, it's very disempowering when we want to do something great, when we want to attempt something outside of our comfort zone. This little voice in our head, which sounds like our voice, that's probably the hardest part, it sounds like our voice, is actually fake, it's actually wrong. These are all the negative voices, these are all the limiting expressions, statements, and criticisms that you had hearing when you were a child. But here comes NLP to help you to resolve it, to get rid of it, and actually have a better life, to be more courageous, more strong, and to do things better. So today we have 3 stages, which is, the first one is what usually limiting beliefs are. The first category is fear. Fear to do something. Fear to think, to act, to take action, to even dream about, or in general fear. And this fear comes from actually not knowing what will happen next. If you notice, the fear comes in public speaking when you want to present something, right? You don't know what's going to happen, so you are afraid. But the fear is gone when you practice and know what you're going to tell. The fear is less when you know the audience, you know what to expect from them, right? So fear comes from unknowing what's going to happen. And the fear sounds, for example, if we want to start a business, to do a job, we are afraid what's going to happen next. We are afraid because the future is uncertain. And the fear comes into our mind with statements like, don't do it, it's gonna be bad, don't leave the job, don't leave the relationship, stay where you are, it's comfortable, it's safe. And it paints all kind of colorful, uncomfortable images. Fear says, don't do it, don't go there, don't take action, don't aim for better life, don't dream about something better, right? Don't ask for a big salary, don't leave the relationship, don't attempt to a better position, don't attempt to start a business. So fear comes in all kind of shapes and forms, but just understand that fear is just an emotion that comes and goes away. The next comes from lack. The statements such as, I don't have resources, or I don't have time, or I don't have energy, or my life is already full of things, I cannot do anything else. My schedule is full, I cannot add anything else to that. So our mind thinks that there is always lack of something, but in fact, resources are abundant, and the lack is also an emotion, it's a state. When you feel sad or you feel disempowered or fearful again, you only see scenarios where there is lack, if there is not enough food, money, or if there is not enough job, or there is not enough opportunities for you to expand, right? If you are in business, you don't see enough clients in the market, right? If you don't see ideas, lack of ideas, right? It's also very strong limiting beliefs. So lack of something, time, resources, and for people, right? Nowadays, very common to say, as business owners, there's a common belief that there's no good people around. The last one is also a fear, always hearing in your head or even outside, criticism, judgment from other people, what they're gonna say, what others will think of me if I fail, what others will think of me if I go online, what would they think? They will think I'm pretending, they will think I'm fake, right? So we have these doubts about this criticism from the others, from our social circle, because we have to face these people. So we are afraid also to meet them, and that keeps us suppressed in where we are. How many friends have you changed over your life? I think more than one. So criticism is only keeping you as an anchor where you are. If people are not supporting you, move on. They're not there for you. Once you climb higher, you will know people who will support and who will help you to achieve your goals. So once we have these main categories covered about the lifting beliefs, I want to emphasize the fact that When we have those limiting beliefs, we tend to think that we are the only ones who have them, whereas we are not. We are several billion people on Earth. That's a lot of people. And we all have fear. Some even are afraid to pick up the call. Some are afraid to get out from the house. And we all have fear of a lack. We all have been in situations where something was missing, where we were a bit hungry, where we didn't have enough money to buy something, and we developed the lack mindset. And the last one is criticism. Criticism from our family, friends, siblings, co-workers. Again, this everyone is facing, and maybe are afraid of you being criticizing someone else. So keep that in consideration. Now, when we think about limiting beliefs, of course, we have to think about solution, because NLP is all about solutions. It's about how to overcome and tackle. And one of the most powerful techniques that I know as a practitioner and trainer for NLP is reframing. Reframing is a powerful technique that can be used in coaching, in consulting, in everyday work with your colleagues, with your friends, with your family members, even raising kids. Reframing is about changing how you perceive something, right? For example, if I take the marker, right? You only see the front, you don't see what is behind the marker. You can only make the assumption. So reframing allows you to see the top, the behind, the bottom, and every angle you need to find and to see. So here we have two main categories: changing the meaning or changing the context. Changing the meaning is about asking questions that change meaning of your limiting belief. For example, you can ask, what else this could mean? What else I can learn from this? Right? So let's say if we have fear, right? If we have fear to start a business, what else this could mean? Well, this could mean that you are the first one in the market who starts this type of business. It also can mean that you need to prepare better to gain more confidence. It also could mean that you might need a mentor, a person that supports you, or that you won't have a supporting system. Now, understand that it's not about not starting business, it's about how you start the business and what you can learn from that, right? Then you can ask again the question, what is positive here? What is the positive intention behind this limiting belief? Because one thing you have to learn about NLP and always remember is that every behavior has a positive intention behind it. It tries to achieve something positive. In this case, it always tries to protect you from something, maybe from getting hurt, maybe from losing some resources or getting even your health damaged. So in this case, what is the positive intention for you having fear to start business? The positive intention here can be, well, it protects your assets, it protects your money, because you maybe have family and you're afraid to take risk. So it's natural for you to feel uncertain, to feel fear and doubts, because it protects you and your family from losing all these things, right? If you didn't have fear and you just jump into the business and you lose all your money without any consideration and thinking and any fear, you might win or you can lose everything in one day. So the fear here is legitimate, right? So what else we can learn from that? And I got this powerful statement or belief that there is always a way. In business, you have to be creative enough. In life, you have to be creative enough. With kids, with family, you have to be creative enough to understand that there's always a way. You just need to be open enough to observe it and to find the way. It teaches you that you can find the resources other than what you think. For example, if you want to start a business and you don't find the money to build a product, maybe your neighbor is looking for the way where to put his money, and he could be your co-founder. You can together start a business, right? If you're afraid to leave the job or ask for higher salary, or there is, let's say, lack of confidence or lack of job or lack of facts that you can tell in order to file the request. So it teaches you preparation, that it helps you prepare for that, right? So after you prepare, naturally you might be feeling more confident. But what is positive here, it teaches you to be more resourceful, it teaches you to be more creative. Because you're not just going to the room, knock the door and say, I want to get more money, I want to earn more money, or I want this job. It doesn't work that way. Therefore, this changing the meaning about your belief is really empowering you. Instead of being afraid, feeling lack of something, you can ask, what is this teaching me? Or what's the positive intention behind this? What else I can learn from this situation? So these are two simple questions that you can be asking yourself and the others. If you are a HR manager, consultant, coach, you can always ask these questions even your kids before they have that experience in their life. So next is context. Changing not the event, but where is it happening? Can help you also to change the perspective, how you feel or how you see the things there. So here we ask questions, where is it useful or when is it useful? For example, criticism, right? You are going online, you start videos or you do a presentation in your work or with your family, you are sitting at toast at the wedding and you're afraid that the people will look at you. And that is great because this is useful for you to learn to evaluate yourself. So the great criticism is useful for you is when you attempt to be a better speaker for that, a better presenter. So feedback, the negative comments, all the comments that you receive are telling you where you have to improve yourself. What you have to do in order to build yourself or build the presentation. There is very common practice in business now that in order to build a perfect product, you don't look into the comments or the reviews that are complimenting you. You look into the reviews that are actually negative ones, where people are complaining. And looking in those comments, you improve your product, and then criticism is less. It's also useful in marketing. If you receive a lot of backlash, a lot of pressure, people are commenting on your post or they are telling something about you, they are sharing your content, building up all kind of negative comments and criticism, that's good. It increases your visibility. So this criticism and feedback is great for marketing, for publicity, to be seen. And also when it is useful is also when you have to adjust yourself, where you have to stay grounded, right? Because when you don't have criticism, you tend to be delusional and don't know if you're doing something right or wrong. So in this case, criticism is good. You need that. And the last one, who wants to understand and to just bypass meaning and context, is a very simple reminder for yourself. Have you done this before? What you're trying to do now, have you done something like that or similar that you did before? If you try to start a new business, maybe in the school you try a new project. That's the same, right? If you try to enter a new job position, have you tried to apply for something in your life? Training course, a meeting, an event to present something. Criticism, have you had criticism in the past? Probably yes. So I wonder for you how you can deal with that. If you have dealt with those limiting beliefs in the past, that means you can also deal with them now in exactly the same way. So this is again very powerful. You ask yourself, have I done this before? Lastly, why you actually should be paying attention to NLP and limiting beliefs? Well, quite frankly, NLP helps you to really fast improve your life, to fix your limiting beliefs without having your content disclosing for the consultant like me. So asking yourself why you should be watching this video until the end, why you should be applying any of these reframing techniques. First of all, it gives you freedom. It gives you freedom to act the way you want to act. It gives you freedom to think. It gives you freedom to be creative. It gives you freedom for self-expression. And then you find out more about yourself. Of course, you probably find new limiting beliefs because once you finish the easier ones, the more difficult comes. But once you have the tools, it's far easier to overcome it. So first of all, why I need to tackle limiting beliefs, it gives you freedom to think, to act, to take action, to make your life and other lives better. Next is to take more risks, because the beliefs are naturally suppressing us, is limiting us to take action. It is preventing us from dreaming. It is preventing us from being creative and having ideas. Therefore, your life becomes more darker, more gray, and in the end, you might end up as a depressed person. So the impact here is huge. As you take more risks, you gain more confident. As you gain more confidence, you become more positive. You achieve more things in life, and you gain the momentum to do more things in the future, and in different areas. And the last one, as we are reaching, is a snowball effect. One thing is to understand about the way we think, the mindset and our actions, is that it has a snowball effect. If you change one thing in your life, 5 more things change. If you change 3 more things, maybe 30 more things will change in your life. For example, before you said, I don't have time to go to the gym. And then you say, no, I do have time, I just need to be more organized. And as you become more organized, you gain more freedom. You understand that you have more free time and the things that you are doing are actually not benefiting you anyhow. Then you take more risks. Maybe you don't just go to the gym, maybe you start specific sports like triathlon, swimming, maybe something more adventurous like skydiving. And that gives you ideas, that gives you momentum to start new business, to get into new positions, to travel more, or even meet new people. So this is very influential for you. It gives you a snowball effect in your life, improving yourself and the others. And as you become more positive person, as you become more risk-taker, you also meet people who are like that. So this snowball effect is also changes people around you, your life, your habits, and your thoughts. So to catch up this video, we talked about NLP for limiting beliefs. We talked about what are the main categories for beliefs, which is fear, lack of understanding, or fear of having criticism. To tackle it is choosing reframing, changing the meaning or the context. Also, it is reminding yourself, have you done this before in the past? And the reason why you should be doing this is because it gives you freedom, you take more risks, and it has a snowball effect on your life. If you find this video useful, save it for yourself, take notes, ask questions in the comments. I'm reading every comment, and feel free to share it with anyone else who might find it useful. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.